Panthers Saints this weekend. Here's what I'm hoping it is for the Panthers. A young person takeover. A young player, a young member of the team, a draft pick, a rookie, a second-year player. If you are younger than 24, report to the field, you're playing. The second half of the season entirely is about a young player takeover for the Panthers. And by the way, I think that's not even necessarily just me with my tried and true and over rhetoric that you start thinking about next year. In many cases, I think the young guys are the better players. So it's time to finally get the veterans and say, listen, we're going to need you to be a mentor for this one. We're paying you a lot of money, so do what we ask. That's what it is now. I went and did, I don't know why this week I've been feeling the math, getting the calculator out a lot. Did some math this morning. If you take, I'm going to put these players at positions, okay? I'm going to pencil them into a starting lineup. If you take Bryce Young at quarterback, Xavier Legette, first rounder at wide receiver 1, Jalen Coker, one of the more hyped undrafted rookie free agents across the NFL as of right now, put Jalen Coker at wide receiver 2, put Jadeveon Sanders, your fourth-round rookie, at tight end 1, and once Jonathon Brooks is healthy, he's doubtful or he's questionable to play this weekend, which would be his debut, but Dave Canales told the media, probably not. If you make him running back 1, that is a age 22.2 average. They are on average 22.2 years old. Now, you could also pencil in a different style of starting lineup at those positions, and I'll read that to you. You could put Andy Dalton at quarterback 1. You could put, or not trade away, Deontay Johnson, who you just traded away, at wide receiver 1. That's where he had been. You could have Adam Thielen when he gets healthy at wide receiver 2. You could have Ian Thomas, who was penciled in as tight end 1 at the beginning of the year, at the head of the tight end depth chart. And you could have Chuba Hubbard at running back 1, which is where he has been all year. If you take those players at those positions, the featured positions on your offense, fantasy football positions, your average age is 30.4. 30.4. That is an 8.2 years difference on average at those positions. Now, Chuba Hubbard's a beast. Don't get me wrong. And I hear some of you going, why is Chuba included? He's only 25. Because running backs are like, it's dog years. 25 at running back and 25 at quarterback are not even the same beast. 25 at quarterback, you're thinking, all right, we've got another potentially 15 years. 25 at running back, you're thinking, I hope he can make it to 30. It is just a different beast. But the crazy part is, if that were it, if you are, what are they, 1-7, 1-8, 1-9, I lose track of the losses. If you're 1 and whatever at this point in the season, I think what I just said might be all I should have to say. Right? Hey, this group is 8 years younger on average, and you stink. I think that's all I should have to say in order for you to pick that group. But on top of that, I'm not wholly confident that the group that's younger isn't better. Xavier Legette is at least more physically imposing, stronger, faster than a Deontay Johnson. Jalen Coker, I wouldn't say is better than Adam Thielen, but you take in the injuries, you take in some of the how much he would improve, how much playing this year would help him. Jalen Coker, there's some arguments for him. Jadeveon Sanders, if you listen to the show, you know how high I am on him as a pass catcher. And if you look at some of the advanced analytics, some of the separation scores, he's number 1 in the entire league. Now, I will say not 100% all of the context there, because a lot of his routes are, like tight end screens behind the line of scrimmage where it's almost artificial separation. But I don't care. He's a rookie and he's number 1 in the league. Context be darned. And then Jonathon Brooks, you better hope he's better than Chuba. You drafted him 2nd overall. He's first running back taken in the draft. You better hope he's better than Chuba. Not 2nd overall, 2nd round. He was your second pick. You better hope those guys are better. That's what the season is about now. I want to see those guys featured more. Jalen Coker's been efficient thus far. What is it? 14 targets, 12 catches?
12 on 15 targets.
12 on 15.
186 yards and a touchdown.
Well, let's see if that plays at volume. Let's see if that plays at volume, because it's easy to be, I want to say easy. It's easier to be efficient on few catches because, like, no one's expecting it. Everyone's a surprise. Get him 5 targets in a game. Get him 6 targets in a game for a couple weeks in a row. See what happens. Xavier Legette catches a touchdown every other week. Well, as wide receiver 1, right, as a guy that's more at the top of the progression, could that be a touchdown every week? And again, like I said, this is a broken record. Jadeveon Sanders needs to be more featured in the passing game. You want to bring in the Tommy Trembles, the old heads to block, fine. But if there's a featured tight end route, I think it has to be Jadeveon Sanders.
Tommy Tremble's pretty young in his own right. He's 24. Just turned 24 over the summer.
Yeah, but Jadeveon Sanders is younger.
Oh, I know.
No, actually, I like I said, you can bring in Tommy Tremble. I don't want to see 28-year-old Ian Thomas.
Yeah. Trust me, neither do Panther fans.
Unless it's jumbo down on the goal line or you're backed up against your own end zone and you really just need a third tackle. And even that, I would just say bring in a third tackle. Although you probably this week don't have healthy 3 tackles. That's a different story. The Saints, I looked this up. Saints have an average age at those positions, quarterback 1, wide receiver 1 and 2, tight end 1, and running back 1, of 28 right now. 28. That's the advantage the Panthers have over can have over a divisional rival. Both of them not a contender at all this year, right? Like, let's not pretend like the Saints are so much better than the Panthers that they're thinking playoffs while the Panthers are thinking draft. It's not that. They're both looking towards a lost season. The Saints have horrendous cap space. They're negative $70+ million in next year's cap already without obvious ways to get out of that hole. Panthers, not that. The Panthers right now have the better draft pick probabilities. Why? Because they're one game worse and most people expect them not to win very much. And the Saints are older by a considerable margin. The way the Panthers win is by looking at the teams they have the advantages over in those things, draft picks, cap space, youth, and saying, listen, we're going to beat you starting about week 8 of next year. We're going to be better than you. And then work towards that. Right? Because right now you're going to, like this weekend, you're going to have Cam Jordan lined up against whoever the heck ends up backing up or playing at tackle.
Brady Christensen starting at left tackle.
If I am a veteran edge rusher, I'm telling my defensive coordinator, I'm lining up on the left tackle. No disrespect to Brady Christensen, by the way. It's just the starter's out. Right? So you can look right now. And Derek Carr is I wouldn't say the best quarterback in the world, but he's better than anything the Panthers have. And Alvin Kamara at 29 years old is still electric. 2 years from now, who knows? By the way, you're going to get a heavy dose of Alvin Kamara because Jamal Williams is doubtful and Kendre Miller is out. Do you know who else is on the running backs roster for the Saints?
Who?
Someone named Mims off their practice squad.
Oh, there you go.
They're going to have to elevate him on game day.
Kamara's been dealing, I think, remember correctly, a broken hand and ribs.
Yeah, but he's tough and he's old and he's a good football player.
Yeah, he is.
Maybe Taysom Hill at running back. You might see quite a bit of.
Don't be shocked.
So, like the Saints have options. They're better than you right now. If you do what you're supposed to do, you make this season about the future. You make this season about the young guys. You make this season about making sure you're set up for next year. I don't see how you can't be better than the Saints. And I'm saying better than a team in your division, which hasn't been able to be said in a while, by week 6 of next year. You could be looking down on someone in your division. But that's only if you start working for it right now. Dave Canales was asked about Bryce Young's week at practice. And by the way, if you get something for Bryce, imagine how much that could accelerate things. Dave Canales was asked about Bryce's week of practice as the starter.
He had a great week. Just taking steps, with the guys. You could see the chemistry of just, the time on task throwing to people. And again, he was into it. He was engaged. He was really driving it. So I'm excited to see him get out there again this week.
Interesting. I don't know what you're expecting from Dave Canales. You could be out there throwing punts and he'd be the best week of practice ever because that's just what he does. I get that it's him. I'm just going to vent real quick here from where I'm sitting. I get that Dave Canales is authentically the most optimistic person on the planet. I don't trust a darn thing he says to the media when it comes to evaluations because he's just going to give you the top-end rose-colored glasses edition of every answer. How did Bryce Young play? Best week of practice. Great week of practice. I'm going like, I don't necessarily. It might be true. Might not be true. Whether it's true or not, I feel like that's the answer you're going to give us.
I feel great about playing football right now.
That would be my question. Like right after week 2, you just got smacked around, or right after the Washington game, do you still feel great about playing football right now? I know you did in July when they didn't keep a scoreboard that showed you got beat by 4 touchdowns. What about now?